here's something that should genuinely terrify you. The United States Department of Homeland Security ran an experiment in 2016 where they dropped 297 USB drives across government and corporate parking lots. No labels, no notes, just drives sitting on the ground. 60% of those drives were plugged in by employees within 6 minutes of being found. 60%. And when the drive had an official-looking logo on it, that number jumped to 90%. People didn't just plug them in, they opened every single file on them. This is called a USB drop attack, and it is one of the oldest, cheapest, and most devastatingly effective cyber attacks ever conceived, and it is absolutely happening to organizations near you right now in 2024. Let's talk about what actually happens when you plug in a random USB drive. Most people assume the danger is in opening a suspicious file. That assumption will get you hacked. Modern attack USB drives, the kind you can buy legally for security research for about $54 on Amazon, can execute malicious code the moment they make physical contact with your computer's USB port. Before you've clicked a single thing. Before your antivirus has even registered the device exists. This works because your operating system automatically trusts USB devices at the hardware level. The drive identifies itself not as a storage device but as a keyboard or a network adapter, and your computer just believes it. This technique is called HID spoofing, human interface device spoofing, and it has been publicly documented since 2014 when a German research team called SR Labs demonstrated something they called bad USB at the DEF CON security conference in Las Vegas. Here's where it gets worse. The firmware inside USB drives, the tiny software that tells the drive how to operate, can be reprogrammed almost invisibly. Researchers Karsten Knoll and Jacob Lell proved this by reprogramming standard USB controllers in off-the-shelf drives purchased at retail stores. Once reprogrammed, the drive could inject keystrokes, redirect internet traffic, and install backdoors, all while appearing completely normal to your file system. Your computer would show you an empty or innocuous drive while malicious processes ran silently in the background. There is no consumer-grade antivirus on the market today that reliably catches this at the firmware level. That's not an opinion, that's a documented gap in endpoint security architecture that the industry has been struggling with for a decade. The attack has real-world consequences that are catastrophic. In 2008, a USB drive dropped in a parking lot at a United States military base in the Middle East deployed malware called Agent BTZ into classified military networks. It took the Department of Defense 14 months and a full operation called Operation Buckshot Yankee to remove it. That single USB drive triggered the creation of United States Cyber Command. In 2010, Stuxnet, arguably the most sophisticated cyber weapon ever deployed, was introduced into Iran's nuclear enrichment facilities at Natanz through USB drives. The attack physically destroyed approximately 1,000 uranium centrifuges. One drive. One air-gapped facility. One catastrophic outcome. Corporate espionage uses this method constantly because it bypasses every network-level security control you have. Firewalls, intrusion detection systems, email filters, none of them matter if someone walks a drive to a workstation. In 2022, the FBI issued a formal warning that a cybercrime group called FIN7 was mailing malicious USB drives to U.S. companies disguised as official U.S. Department of Health packages and Amazon gift boxes with notes inside. Real physical mail. Targeted employees opened the packages, found what looked like a thank you gift drive, and plugged them in. The drives installed ransomware called Black Matter and are evil. The FBI documented attacks across the transportation, insurance, and defense industries using exactly this method. So what do you actually do to protect yourself? Rule 1 is absolute. Never plug in a USB drive you did not personally purchase and remove from its sealed packaging yourself. Not from conference swag bags, not from parking lots, not from colleagues who say, quote, "It's fine." Rule 2. If you work in a security-sensitive environment, Advocate for USB port blockers and endpoint policies that disable auto-run and HID registration from unknown devices. Windows Group Policy can do this. Rule 3. If you absolutely must check an unknown drive, use an air-gapped sacrificial machine running a live Linux environment that boots from nothing and connects to nothing. Even then, understand you are taking a risk. The drive you found could be waiting for exactly that scenario. The single most dangerous words in cybersecurity are, quote, "It's probably nothing." Because usually, it isn't.